Am I the asshole for refusing to apologize to my mother-in-law after she saw me wearing underwear? This happened yesterday morning at 9 in the morning. I, female 33, was in the kitchen eating breakfast wearing my regular underwear. Suddenly, I heard gasping sounds coming towards me. I turned and saw my mother and sister-in-law yelling about what I was wearing. I was in utter shock and just froze in my seat. My husband was asleep at the time and he must have heard his mom and sister scream because he ran downstairs and asked what's going on. His mom started ranting loudly about what an inappropriate scene she and her daughter saw. I'm still sitting in shock when my husband started yelling at me to go put something on quickly. I went upstairs and his mom called me shameless and inappropriate. Mother-in-law called me shameless and inappropriate, and I heard my husband say it won't happen again. I was so mad I put a coat on and went downstairs and started arguing with my mother-in-law. I told her she shouldn't have come over without notice, but turns out my husband told her to come over at 9 to discuss a family crisis. My mother-in-law said I was in the wrong for walking around half naked, knowing she has a key and might show up any minute. I told her it's my home and she said it's her son's home too. We argued and my husband told me to knock it off and apologize, but I refused and went back upstairs. Then after his mom and sister left, he called me childish and inappropriate. And then he told his mom I'll apologize, but I'm not. Am I the asshole for taking my sister's house keys after she walked in on me with someone else and told my ex? My sister has my house keys because sometimes she has to use my office for work. Her Wi-Fi is really slow, plus she has 5 kids who bother her non-stop even though brother-in-law is supposed to be taking care of them. Sometimes I leave the house, so that's why I gave her the key, but she lets me know ahead of time if she's coming. So my ex and I are still in the middle of a divorce and we separated 5 months ago and have an 11-year-old son right now. I have full custody, but my sister is very close with my ex. She's against the divorce even though I told her I was never in love with her and everyone pushed me to marry her because she got pregnant. Well, a week ago, me and a girl I've been seeing were getting into it on the couch and my sister showed up, catched us, and left. Not even an hour later, I'm getting dozens of calls and texts from my ex because my sister went and told her. My sister said that she needed to know so that she could talk to me about not seeing anyone. I'm mad because it's neither her business or my ex's who I sleep with. Now my ex won't leave me alone. She's showing up at my place demanding to know if anyone else is here and just causing so many problems. Of course, this is all my ex's actions, but if my sister hadn't told her anything, this wouldn't be happening. My sister thought she was firmly in the right for telling her so that she knows someone else is trying to steal her husband away. The argument made me so mad that I took her keys away.
I, 38 female, had 2 work colleagues, Mary and Adam, both in their late 20s to early 30s. Mary started in the company first and then she got Adam to join and they worked in different departments, but Mary was in mine. Later, Mary left the company to pursue another career. When they started at the company, they were already married for a few years. Now Mary is the kindest and loveliest person I've ever met. She was always polite, helpful, and would cheer anyone up. We missed her dearly, so it came to a shock when we found out that she was divorcing Adam because he had cheated on her. I called her to express how sorry I am that this happened to her, and we were talking almost daily ever since. I was impressed at how well Mary holds herself in this situation. She wouldn't badmouth Adam, and the only thing she mentioned was how her wedding dress and a few family heirlooms went missing when she was moving her stuff from their apartment. She thought they might have been misplaced in a different box and would turn up eventually. A few years passed. I now work in the same department as Adam. He's a good work colleague but can be dismissive and ignorant at times. Adam invited me to his wedding with the lady, Chelsea, he cheated on Mary with. As the entire department was invited, I said yes, making sure Mary was okay with this. I've also told her where the wedding will be. It's not too far from where she lives and we could go for some drinks after if she wanted to. On the day of Adam's wedding, I noticed that Chelsea is wearing a similar dress that Mary wore in the photos of her and Adam's wedding years ago. So, without thinking, I snapped a picture and sent it to Mary with the caption saying, "Doesn't this dress look familiar?" Mary saw the message but didn't respond, and about an hour later, police show up at the venue. I should add in that police in our country are ruthless and any theft is considered a criminal matter for the police to deal with. The police asked Chelsea to take the dress off and all the jewelry off. Chelsea refused and started arguing with them, and then Adam joined in. Since they were rude to the police, they were taken to the police station. Everyone at the wedding had to leave. I tried to call Mary, but she wouldn't pick up the phone. Later, we found out that Chelsea was wearing Mary's wedding dress and her heirlooms. Mary spotted them on the picture I sent her and called the police. Apparently, she had previously asked Adam if he had them and he declined, saying that he never saw them. So after she saw the picture, he knew that he was lying and stole them. Chelsea had to leave her wedding dress and jewelry at the police station and go home wearing her underwear and Adam's jacket after they were bailed out. Yesterday, Adam returned to the office and went completely mental on me. He blamed me for sending a picture to Mary and ruining his wedding. He also called me an asshole for what I did. Am I the asshole for ruining my colleague's wedding and getting them arrested?
Am I wrong for adding my brother to his fiancé? I, 24 male, have a younger brother, 22 male, who's in the closet. I knew he was gay since he was 15 years old, but I never told our parents anything about it because they're pretty homophobic and would probably end up disowning him. However, around 2 years ago, my brother brought this girl home and presented her as his girlfriend. Our parents were pleased with her, but I was confused and later on asked him why he's dating a girl if he's gay. He told me that he's planning to marry a girl for appearances and to have children in order to please our parents. I told him that's a terrible idea and he's just gonna make himself and the girl miserable for the rest of their lives. He then told me he doesn't plan to stay married to her for the rest of his life and just for a while until they have children. After that, he's gonna divorce her and share the custody of kids with her. I told him that's a very cruel plan and that he shouldn't let his parents' expectations dictate the way he lives his life. But he just ignored me and continued to date this girl. Fast forward to last week when I found out that my brother and his girlfriend got engaged and were planning to get married in next year's spring. I called my brother and told him again how cruel he was for leading on that girl and he should try to put himself in her shoes, but he again didn't listen to me. So I contacted his fiancée and convinced her to meet up with me in order to talk about my brother. I then told her all the truth. That my brother is only marrying her in order to have children and that he's going to divorce her as soon as he has them and he's actually into men. She absolutely lost it and told me that I just came up with lies about my brother in order to break them off because I was secretly in love with her. After that, I just let her be and I thought my brother was going to rear me a new one after finding out what I told her. But yesterday my brother called me enraged and went off on me telling me how I could out him to his fiancée like that and betray his trust. Apparently, after our talk, his fiancée did some digging on my brother and found out that he's been seeing another man behind her back. She immediately broke the engagement off after that and let my brother know that I was the reason she even suspected him in the first place. My brother told me that he's never going to trust me with anything ever again and then blocked my number. So, am I the asshole here?
Am I the a-hole for blowing up at my wife for going to her gender reveal appointment without me? My wife and I are expecting our first baby together. We made an appointment to find out the gender of the baby. To me, this is very important. I had hopes for a boy. But unfortunately, the day of the doctor's appointment, I had to attend my friend's birthday that I remembered last minute. I asked my wife if we could cancel the appointment and go another day, but she looked shocked that I even considered canceling the appointment and going to my friend's birthday. But I said I had no choice. She said canceling the doctor's appointment was off the table because these appointments are restricted to a specific time and date, and we can't miss it, so she'll go alone. I told her no, because that'd be selfish of her. And besides, this will ruin the news of finding out if the baby is a boy or a girl. She cut the discussion and told me to go to the birthday party. I did, then later found out she didn't cancel the appointment and went with her mom instead. I came home seething and blew up at her. I started arguing with her about going behind my back and doing this without me. She said it wasn't her fault I prioritized a party over my child. I told her I didn't prioritize anything. She literally could have canceled and we would have gone another day. But clearly she was trying to steer the fight to a direction where I looked like the neglectful and irresponsible one. We fought some, then she said I'm probably angry with her because it's a girl. But I responded that she was wrong. She went outside the room claiming I was stressing her out. Now acts like I owe her an apology on top of everything else. But I feel upset and like I was deceived by her. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for suggesting my ex's daughter stop coming over for a while after she purposely messed up my relationships? I, 35 female, used to date a guy we'll call Jacob, 37 male. We dated for 9 months before we mutually agreed to break up. Jacob has a 16-year-old daughter we'll call Emma. Emma's mom is not in her life, and apparently all previous exes treated her horribly. Emma calls me mom. I never had an issue with it even after the breakup since I knew she didn't really have one and I cared for her. Emma often comes to visit me and stays over. About 2 months ago, I went on a date. Emma found out but acted really excited for me and even insisted on helping me pick out a dress. We had a blast and even went for some ice cream after. The date went well, and I thought things were going good. However, about a week later, I received a text from my date calling me a horrible person and telling me to never talk to him again. This happened for the next 3 days and went on, and at this point I knew something was up. On the 4th date, the same thing happened as the previous 3 dates. However, this time I decided to ask for an explanation. He then sent me screenshots of messages he had received from a random number claiming that I had a family and that I was cheating. I was shocked to see that the number which sent the messages was Emma's. Emma came over later that day, and I showed her the screenshots and asked if she sent this to all my previous dates. She admitted to sending this message to all my dates and apologized, saying that she thought that if I got in a relationship, she would lose me. I felt bad and told her that she would never lose me and I would always be there for her. We had a heart-to-heart, and then got sushi and I thought this was the end of it. I went on another date last week. I had told my date about Em and everything that happened with her. He thought it was funny and had no problem with her being in my life still. Well, a day later he sent me a message, and what do you know? Emma had messaged him the exact same messages she sent to everyone else. I called them and asked why she did this again, when we had already talked about it, and told her that if this doesn't stop, she will not be able to come over to my house for a while, which is something I don't want to do. She got mad and started swearing at me before saying that I should get back with her father because we didn't end on bad terms, before hanging up on me. I called her father and explained the situation. I told him that I think we need to get her a therapist as I think our breakup affected her more than we thought. I then told him that until the situation was resolved and she apologized, she shouldn't come over to my house for a while. I would still talk to her, just not see her until she starts therapy. Well, her father was furious. He called me everything in the book and said that while she was in the wrong and should see a therapist, I was an a-hole for essentially cutting her out of my life because of it. I explained that it was only temporarily until the situation was resolved. However, he hung up. It's been a day and I feel really bad as I'm the only healthy mother figure she's had. However, I don't think I am in the wrong as it's only until she starts therapy. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. People are asking how she got those numbers. I used to always give her my phone even after the incidents because I never had any reason to doubt her, and I thought the issue was resolved, so she most likely got it from there. I also have every intention of still talking to her, just not seeing her until she starts therapy. Added 2. Someone suggested that maybe the reason previous exes didn't like her is because she did something like this. So I asked some mutual friends, and apparently she has a habit of getting attached to women very quickly and calling them mom. Apparently it made all the exes uncomfortable, and a lot of them broke up with Jacob because of it.
Story time about how my dad found out that I was a stripper. We love that for us, don't we? Wrong, we don't. So a little background information. I was a junior in college and I was 21 years old. And I go to a very expensive college. Actually, really expensive college. Not gonna lie, the only reason why I got to go to this college was because I got a scholarship. A very good scholarship. Now, being that I am going to such a good college, I feel like I have a lot to prove to everybody. Because I was always the straight A student and, you know, I was kind of held to very high standards because my brothers really never did anything with their lives, of course. So everything was put on to me. Well, with that being said, the little coffee shop job I had just was not cutting it anymore. Every time I would go out, I would find myself spending what felt like a ton of money, but in reality, $40 isn't a lot. I was just broke. But then I got what felt like the opportunity of a lifetime. We're gonna call this person my, quote, guardian angel, okay? Because this person saved me from a shit ton of debt and my future. So me and a couple of my friends were walking the one night to a local bar that we usually go to, and we run into this group of people. And that's where I met my, quote, guardian angel. Well, her and I really hit it off that night, and I pretty much told her about everything that was going on, including about how my life was really shit growing up. My parents were super strict, especially my dad. And then I told her that I was actually super broke and really had no money. She looked really surprised at first, as does everybody when I tell them this, because I carry myself a certain way. Like, this girl really thought that I was a trust fund baby or something. Sadly, I was not. And then she said to me, oh, well, can you dance? Now, I had took a few ballet classes when I was younger, so I'm like, yeah, I can freaking dance, you know, like, and she's like, no, I mean, do you know how to shake your ass? I was a little taken back, you know. I was like, I mean, yeah, like, I guess so. And then she's like, okay, well, you have a job. So at first, I am extremely skeptical. At first, I thought she was going to tell me that she's a prostitute and that I was going to be a prostitute also. But then she was telling me how she was a stripper. That kind of eased my, you know, how I was feeling a little bit. She also said that she makes more than enough money for all of her car payments, her rent, everything like that. And she was even able to take her and her boyfriend on a 2-month trip to Greece the year before. Girl. So at this point, I am way more interested than I was before. But I also had a strict ass dad, and I really had to think on this. Do I shake my ass for some money? And if I do, will my dad disown me? Probably, but yeah. But anyways, I decided to give it a shot, and I started working at the strip club. But honestly, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. For the next 6 months, I was making literally bank from working at the strip club. Now, obviously, you know, I had bad nights and everything like that, but still, it couldn't compare to working at that shitty ass little coffee shop. And you know what? I actually eventually started to enjoy working there way more than I thought I would. Well, my 22nd birthday rolls around, and this is around when I thought my life was over pretty much. Yeah, we'll just say that. So this is whenever my strict ass family thought that they would come to my college and surprise me for my birthday. So it was my dad, my 2 brothers, and my mother, of course. So here's the issue. They came down a day early to surprise me, I guess. And boy, did I get a surprise. The hotel they were staying at was right across from the club. But you know what? Not too bad, you know. Not like my strict God worshipping father was literally staying right across from where I worked. Well, the night before my birthday, I'm at the club. I'm about halfway done with my shift, in the middle of dancing all over a fucking pool, trying to make money. I have to fake an injury. Why do I have to fake an injury? Only because, you know, I look up and I see my father. So at this point, I literally want to run off the stage and just go curl up in a corner and die. But I think of a more realistic thing to do. Fake an injury. I start limping off the stage. Once I get off the stage, I tell Sadie that I need to go home. I'm not feeling my best. I really need to leave now. Well, you know, I thought she would be understanding, but she said, fine, after your walkthrough. Now, if you don't know what a walkthrough is whenever you pretty much go on the floor and you flirt with guys, you know, kind of just talk to them and stuff, just something like that. So at this point, I knew it was pretty much over. I really did need this job, so I wasn't about to just walk out. And I kid you not, once in the main room, it took them 20 seconds to realize that it was me walking around. And when they saw me, they just left. Like, they ran out of the place. They did not want to be there. And I was like, okay, like, what the fuck? I really thought I was in a dream, because in reality, I thought my dad would have dragged me out of there and beat my ass and left me on the curb. But that's not what happened at all. So I'm kind of shook. Well, then the next day, I wake up to a knock on my door, and I definitely did not think it was my dad, because I thought that he would never want to see me again, you know. His image of his perfect little angel was ruined. But of course, it was my whole family. They walked in, they gave me hugs, they wished me a happy birthday. Super sweet. The weird part was my dad and brothers were acting normal the whole entire time. Like, nothing ever happened. They didn't see anything, you know? They didn't walk in on me shaking some ass. So at that point, I was kind of thinking that I had a dream that it happened and it didn't really happen. I was starting to question myself. But also, I was kind of annoyed because my dad really hadn't said a word to me the whole entire time. So while we were sitting at my kitchen table, I decided to kind of make things more awkward, because my mom had told me that they all got there last night. So I asked my dad, I was like, so what did you guys do last night? Yeah, I was that person. I was kind of annoyed because none of them would even look me in the eye. My mom answered the question for them. So eventually I waited until my mom left the room so that way I could approach the situation. But before I even said a word, my dad pulled out an envelope that had $2,500 in it. And he was like, here, this is for school, and let's just forget about last night. He also ended up apologizing because he said that he didn't know how hard I was working to pay for school, but he was also really proud of me for trying to do it by myself. I was like, okay, period. But then after that sweet moment, he was like, so, you're still planning on getting a job after school, right? Like, you know, you're not, this isn't a lifetime thing. And I was like, you know, so like, way to ruin a good moment, you know. But still, he was very accepting, so I have to be appreciative of that, you know. And on the other hand, my mother actually took it worse than he did.
she was telling me about how all her other friends' daughters, you know, they work here instead of doing what I do, you know. She pretty much called me a whore every time she got the chance, so, you know, we love that for me. I mean, my dad would low-key put her in her place sometimes, but, like, it was ridiculous.
So this story actually takes place back when I worked at a grocery store. Yes, I said it, a literal grocery store. Now, obviously, this was kind of like back in high school, so, you know, at this time and age, like, either I was working at a restaurant, but this was the first time I actually wanted to go into like a retail kind of thing. But to be honest, any actual like clothing store I've been to, they all said no to me basically because I didn't have the resume, since all my resumes were basically me being in the kitchen. But honestly, I just decided to go to a grocery store because my mom thought it'd be a cool idea to like get more experience in a way. But you know, win-win scenario. But anyways, I remember I worked at this basic grocery store that, you know, had a lot of young people working there. And honestly, like by young, I mean basically like a lot of people my age. And when you guys get a job, you guys will automatically notice this, but every workplace you guys actually like go into, or you start working a new job, you guys will realize who's friends with who to stay away from, who to take orders from. It's kind of like high school, but like in a more financial way. And I say financial way because you're making money. Unlike school, you're getting a piece of paper. But anyways, going on with the story, I remember there was a certain day, it was on a Friday night, and I remember I was stocking shelves in the morning. I took a morning shift that time because for some reason the manager wanted to talk to me like later on throughout the day, and I just didn't know why. But anyways, I was working and I was putting stuff away, and I remember I was going down the candy aisle and I was putting candy away because that's where the candy went, obviously. But as I was putting candy away, I remember one of the little Asian girls that worked at like the grocery store walked up to me, and everyone liked this little Asian girl for some reason. Like she was really nice, she was really kind, and she was a genuine person. But at the same time, she was like a goody two shoes, but like not everyone was a fan of her because apparently she was a snake. I don't know. To be honest, I didn't care enough. Like I said, I was putting candy away, and when she walked up to me, she said, "So apparently word around is that you're getting a promotion soon." I remember looking at her and I'm like, I've only been here for 2 months. How am I getting a promotion? And then she said, well, apparently one of the managers is really like enjoying how you do work and really likes you, and I think she wants to promote you. And when she said I realized what manager it was. Apparently there was a girl night manager who was like really, how do I put this? Basically one of those people that act like they're still in high school, even though they're fully graduated, but still can't get out of that high school mindset. And obviously for me, I didn't care enough, to be honest, because let's be real here, when I go to work or when I do any sort of work in general, I kind of just put my head down and just focus on it. But when she told me it was like a promotional kind of thing, I kind of got excited. I'm not gonna lie, because obviously promotion equals more money equals my pocket, and more money equals video games, and video games is where I like. So obviously then I asked her, oh, like did like something happen? Like did I do something right? Like I don't know, like what do you mean by that? Because obviously I didn't understand what was going on at the moment when she was telling me I was gonna get a promotion. But then she said, I don't know, just go to her office and see what she wants. So obviously I finished putting the candy away and I went up to the office where she was basically sitting at all day. Because I'm not gonna lie, the manager of the grocery store, they either go out, count like what's in stock, and then they just go back upstairs and sit for like hours just talking about how sad their life is because they work at a grocery store. But as I headed up the elevator and I walked into the office she was in, I remember she had like 2 other people in there. And when she saw me, I'm not joking when I say this, she smiled like I've never seen before. So either this was gonna be a really good promotion, or I was about to, you know, do the devil's tango. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not yet, anyway. But going on, I remember she ended up clearing out the room. And when she cleared out the room, she closed the door and said, all right, Bubba, so I actually need to talk to you about something very special you can do for this company. And when she said that, I kind of got like this vibe that I was gonna become a manager for some reason. But then she ended up saying, you're gonna be working the graveyard shift. Wait, what? Yeah, she wanted me to literally work the graveyard shift. Reminder, I was in high school at the time. So this is really, really off-putting because obviously that ruins the sleep schedule. And also, get your good night's sleep because seriously, you could die from not sleeping. Unless you're grinding on YouTube, then don't sleep. Keep the grind up. But anyways, like I was saying though, so basically, when she told me she wanted me to work the graveyard shift, I kind of had to worry because I told her like, oh, like I'm in school. I don't know if I can do it. Like, you know, like I don't know if it's a good idea. But then she went on to say, oh, you'll be making $2 more than your normal wage. And when she said $2 more, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of happy about it. Like, let's be real here, guys. Making money nowadays is absolutely just a pain in the butt. So obviously, I'm gonna take it. Even though I gotta sacrifice like, let's see, 8 hours of sleep, I don't think it's a total loss for $2 extra every hour. Like, it's not bad. But then I ended up, you know, signing the piece of paper saying I'll do the graveyard shift, and she gave me the weekends to do the graveyard shift, so my sleep schedule in school wouldn't be so messed up. But once I signed the paper, I remember she put her phone on the table and it was on Snapchat, and she told me, hey, like, I'm gonna like need your Snapchat to like give you your schedule, by the way. I'll just send it to you once I get it set up. So you're not gonna email me it, is what I asked her afterwards. But she said, no, like we prefer to like be direct contact with just, you know, Snapchat or like Instagram. I just think it's a lot more like convenient. And also like knowing like, you know, we're like teenagers. She was 27. Knowing we're like teenagers, I think it would just work out. Okay, yeah, well, sure, whatever. So I remember I ended up giving her my Snapchat, funny enough. I remember going back down and I was gonna like, you know, clock out for my shift. And when I did, the Asian girl walked back up to me. She said, hey, did you know like the manager like is actually like very interested in you for some reason? And I'm like, oh yeah, like you're right. Like she gave me a promotion. But then she told me, no, like she's actually like really interested in you. This is where I started to worry. But like I was saying though, like it was kind of just like winging it. But anyways, I kind of just chose to ignore it and I went home. When I went home, she ended up sending me a schedule. I worked at a Saturday night and I went to work that night. When I got there, it was super dark out. And when I entered the store, nobody was there. Like it was scary how quiet a grocery store can be when there's nobody there. Like not even music is playing. Like it's silent, dead silent. So at the same time, the lights were still on. It was actually pretty cool. And when I walked through the door and, you know, I went upstairs and stuff and I went to go put my bag away, I saw the manager. When she saw me, she walked up to me and said, are you ready for your first shift? Obviously, I said, yeah, because hell, what else am I going to do at like 12 at night in a grocery store? So she gave me the basic rundown of what to do, what things to put away. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of liked it. She let me put on my headphones, listen to some Juice World, and I basically just jammed out and put stuff away. And honestly, it goes bumping hard when you're listening to Lucid Dreams, putting stuff away 12 at night at a grocery store. I don't know. It's just a different vibe. Honestly, like, I don't know. It was just a vibe. Anyways, as I was putting things away, I remember the night manager ended up like coming up beside me and she was also putting things away with me. But then she was talking to me as I was like listening to Juice World and I didn't realize it till like halfway through her sentence. So I remember I took out my headphones and I was like, oh, like, what's up? She said, did you not just hear like what I just said? And I said, no, like, I didn't hear you. Sorry. Like, I was listening to Juice World. And then she told me, oh, like, I like Juice World too. Like, he's actually so awesome. Rip Juice, by the way. I forgot to mention that in this video. But going on, she ended up saying, oh, well, while you weren't listening, I guess I was just complimenting you and how cute you looked. Bruh, you're telling me my manager called me cute 12 at night when I'm looking busted as hell and she thinks me in sweatpants is cute? Like, don't get me wrong, they come off easy, but like, okay, anyways. So we ended up just talking about basic outfits and we're just talking about, you know, school. At least I was talking about school. She was talking about how she still lives with her mom and so on and so forth. And then what ended up happening afterwards was pretty awkward. And I say pretty twice because it was awkward. As we were putting things away, she kind of like started like going out of things in my cart and she put her hand in my cart when I put my hand in there and we kind of like touched hands. Now, usually that wouldn't be a big deal, but then she like went from touching my hand to like going up my arm and grabbing my shoulder and then she ended up making out with me in the middle of the grocery store. When she did that, I remember she literally looked at me and she's like, come with me. She grabbed me by my hand. We went to the elevator and when we got into the elevator, she like pressed a button as the door closed that made the whole elevator just stop. And then I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that's when we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. So that went on for, I want to say like 2 hours of our night. And I remember the phone rang. It was like 2 a.m. The phone rang for some reason. It was one of the delivery guys that delivered things at night apparently. And she like basically got all her clothes on and she was like saying like, oh, like we're on the way right now. And we went down and I'm not gonna lie, her hair was all messed up. My hair was all messed up. Like we were going at it in the elevator for like I said, 2 hours almost. So it was pretty busted. And then afterwards, I remember she looked at me and she just kept winking at me as like we were getting the order in. And then I remember how weird I felt, but honestly, like it wasn't that bad. And let's just say, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I ended up quitting, I want to say a month after, because you know, even though she was way older than me, I'm not gonna lie, she was too much to handle sometimes. And sometimes you need to draw your boundaries.
Am I the a-hole for limiting financial support to my daughter, 23 female, upon finding out she wants to live child-free? I have 2 children, a son 26 male who was recently married and plans to have children, and a daughter 23 female who is still studying. Before she told me she plans to live child-free, I offered to help her financially in buying a car, as I did with my son a couple years earlier. However, now that I know she doesn't plan to have children, I feel like the money will be much better spent helping my son with buying an apartment, which he plans to in some time. My reasoning is that the humble wealth I have accumulated over the years thanks to my hard work, I only could do because of my parents' financial contribution to my education, etc. So I would like to pass to future generations to help them going into life as well. I feel like supporting my daughter anywhere beyond the level of living a decent life would be a waste, because she won't pass it forward like my parents did to me. On the other hand, supporting my son would mean increasing life quality for his family and his children, allowing the wealth to flow down the generations and improve my grandchildren's future. My daughter, however, is very unhappy with my decision because she obviously would want a car. She says I promised, which I did, but under different circumstances. She says it's unfair because my son doesn't have children yet as well. But it's not really important because he plans to have them. It is actually looking to buy an apartment for the family. I just don't want to indulge my daughter's wishes to get a car, when my son will clearly need the money more to make his family's life better. I, however, agree that it would mean I kinda would be breaking a promise. So would I be an a-hole to refuse to pay her for her car?
So y'all ever had a moment, like one of those days where everything is just off and you feel like I should just stay home, I should just chill, I shouldn't do nothing? So this day was one of those days, y'all. I should have listened to my first thought. I should have fucking paid attention to the signs. I should have stayed the fuck home. But my homegirl was at my house and we was trying to find something to get into, right? So we end up going to the store. If you're from LA, you know where Liquorland is on Vermont Imperial. So we ended up going to Liquorland. Before we went inside of Liquorland, because crazy shit just was happening early. So before we went inside the liquor store or whatever, we ended up running into this boy. When we was about to walk in, he was coming out, and it was this boy I went to school with. So I'm like, oh, what's up? He like, hey, Simone. I'm gonna call him, we gonna call him Bubbles, y'all. And the reason why we gonna call him Bubbles is y'all see why we call him Bubbles. But so when we was coming in and Bubbles was coming out, so I seen him, I'm like, oh, what's up, Bubbles? Like, he like, oh, what's up, Simone? I ain't seen you in a long time. How you been? How you been? I'm like, oh, you know, we just chopping it up, you know, the whole hey, da da da. So he like, matter of fact, what you doing tonight? I'm like, nothing yet. Like, we trying to find some plans. He like, oh, sorry. Oh my God. So he like, okay, well, me and my homies is actually going to this party. The homeboy is performing there. Like, y'all should come. Like, y'all should come. So I'm like, okay, we switching information, you know, got each other's number. Boom. Y'all. So he leave. We go inside the store. This is when I say that the day started and I should have paid attention to signs. I just already had that feeling waking up, but it was just signs after signs. So we walk into the store. When we in the store, for some reason, it was a crazy crackhead up in there. And this man is just going wild. He's throwing shit in the store, opening shit up, throwing it in the store, and just doing the fucking most, getting into it with the people that work there. He throwing a soda, and mind you, when he threw a soda, the soda hit, like he opened it kind of and threw it. And when it hit, it splashed on us a little bit. So that was already sign number one. Annoyed. He trying to fight random people. So at this point, I'm like, girl, let's just go to a different store. So we left out of there because it was just a lot of crazy crackhead shit going on. And I was just wasn't like, I was already annoyed. So we ended up going somewhere else. I forgot. I think we was trying to get a bottle or something like that because we was just gonna like have a bottle just in case we couldn't find plans. And we just stayed in the house drinking karaoke and listening to music. You know, just having a good time with just us. So I don't think we end up getting that. No, we did end up going to a different store and we ended up getting a bottle or whatever. So, y'all, later that day, it was just like a lot of weird shit happening. Like, I dropped my phone. Like, just little shit like that was happening throughout the day. So, like, later that day, Bubbles hit me up and was just like, hey, y'all still trying to go out? So, I'm like, you trying to go out, girl? She like, yeah, we trying to go out. So, I'm like, yeah, we trying to go. So, he was just like, okay, well, it's parking is crazy over there. He was like, they be charging like $20 to park and you ain't gonna find street parking. You're gonna get towed, gonna get a ticket, this, that, and the third. We should all go in one car. He's like, so we'll pick y'all up. Mind y'all, Bubbles and me went to school together and like, he had like friends that used to live not too far from me. So Bubbles already knew where I lived from when we was at school and I used to like walk and we'll all like walk the same way and shit like that. So Bubbles already knew where I live at. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I gave Bubbles the address again to, you know, like, okay, remember. So I didn't have a problem with giving Bubbles my address. That's basically what I'm saying because he already knew like where I live. So I'm like, all right, you gonna come get us? So he like, yeah, it's gonna be me, 2 of the homies. No, it was gonna, yeah, me, him, 2 of the homies, and 1 other homeboy. That's what he said. So I'm thinking like, is he a distant homeboy? Like, why he didn't include him and just say me and 3 homies? Like, you know. But they all was cool. Like, even in school, like 2 of the people that he was with, I went to school with them too, and I knew them. Like, the 1 other boy, we'll get to him. I didn't know him. So yeah. So I'm like, everybody's cool, you know, whatever, it's cool. You know, like girls and guys can hang out and just be friends and have a good time. So Bubbles and them pulled up. When they pulled up, when I tell you, mind you, the driver was the distant homie. So we're gonna call him Moose. So yeah, so Moose Moose is the driver and Bubbles is in the front seat. The 2 other people I went to school was in the back seat, and then me and my homegirl. So we squished up in the car, but it's cool because we like, it wasn't that bad, but it was just like, you know? So it was cool. So I had told my homegirl, I'm like, you can sit on my lap if you want to, like, you know? And she just like, okay. So we was just in the car or whatever. So we get in the car and I say hi to everybody. And I'm like, this is my homegirl. And I said hi to Moose too. I'm like, hi, like I'm Simone, because I never met Moose before. And they like, oh, hi. Like everybody said hi except Moose. Moose didn't say nothing to us. Moose seemed like he had an attitude. So I'm just like, okay. So we get in the car and he just like, so where we finna go? Like said to Bubbles. And Bubbles just like, okay, well, we finna go to over here. I gotta pick something up and then we could go. So we had brought our bottle too. I'm like, oh, I got a bottle, y'all, if y'all want to pregame and shit like that. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. So Moose still ain't said shit to nobody. Moose just driving. We drive to the location, the other location, which was Bubbles' house. And Bubbles just went in there to go get like a few things or whatever, or switch out a jacket. I forgot. So we in the car, y'all. Mind you, we fucking deep in the car, squish. Fucking Moose got the fucking the windows on fucking lock, and Bubbles, why he's called Bubbles is because he said he didn't, like, but he was farting up in the fucking car and the shit stunk. But I knew it was coming from the front seat because it's like, you know, you could smell where it's coming from. But yeah, anyway, that's why he Bubbles, because the niggas needed to go take a shit and it was just like, you should have did that when we stopped at your house. But anyway, so he had the windows on lock. It's hot in the car too. Not trying to cut the air on. Not saying shit to us, basically. Like, not saying nothing. So we all in the car. We just talking and shit like that. Then it just got real quiet. And Bubbles was like, because I noticed like when we would be talking, Bubbles would kind of turn the music up. Like basically shut the fuck up in my car. So I was just thinking like, what's up with him? And I couldn't text my homegirl because mind you, we in the car like packed like fucking sardines. They could see what's going on. If I do text her and say some shit, they'll probably think like, bitch, why are you talking shit about Moose? Like, you know, I don't know shit. So we in the car. Next thing you know, Moose was like, hand me that bottle. Mind y'all, at this time we on the freeway. The place we was going to was downtown. So I'm just like, hand him the bottle while he's driving, I guess. So we hand Moose the bottle. Moose start drinking that bottle like this. Mind you, we're driving. He's driving on the freeway. He like this. He got his head back, just go. Damn, they're drinking the whole bottle. And Bubba's like, yeah, get in the mood, nigga, get in the mood. And next thing you know, I'm just scared because I'm just like, why is he doing that? Next thing you know, I don't know if Moose is like me because alcohol just goes straight to me, but clearly it goes straight through him too. This nigga start driving crazy. Now he's talking to us. Yeah, so we finna have fun. What's your name again? Oh, what's your name again? Yeah, we gonna have a good time. Y'all turned up. Next thing you know, he start playing I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. He's playing it loud. And he's the only one singing, screaming. It was just really like, the fuck going on? We on the freeway and he just starts speeding. He trying to go in and out of lanes and he like, yeah, we finna die tonight. We finna go crazy. He's like, what if I crash the car, y'all? And what if I crash? Well, I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this? And they like, stop playing, bro, stop playing. And Bubbles just sitting there, he not saying nothing. The like other friends in the back seat, they just like, stop playing, like the fuck, like. And I'm just sitting there like, my homegirl like, bitch, the fuck we got ourselves into? When this car stop, I'm hopping out, red light, I don't care. Like, so he just like, no, I'm just kidding. So he like, what y'all like to hear? Mind you, we all just drinking in the car. So at this point, I'm kind of drunk and I'm like, fuck, I'm getting drunk with a fucking crazy person. Like, you know, like, damn, it's already too late. So we in the car, we on our way there. Next thing you know, he start playing Usher, y'all. At this point, now I'm singing with you. We going in. Confessions, we singing it like we all got something to tell each other, y'all. So we in the car just screaming, singing to the top of our lungs. I'm already forgetting the whole dumb, weird shit he did on the freeway. So now we get off the freeway and we pull up to the place. So mind y'all, the person that was supposed to be performing was in the car with us. And he said, but he did end up performing. We'll get there. It don't matter right now. But yeah, so he in the car with us or whatever. So we get there and he was like, oh, let me out because I'm going to go run in because I was supposed to be here. So he get out and and when he got out, the other boy got out too from the other door. And then Bubbles had got out. And mind you, he was like, all right, well, we're going to go park. He's like, can y'all come with me to park? Because he was like, I really forget where I park at when I be drinking. So me and my homegirl stayed in the car. Big mistake. Y'all, we stayed in the car. And when they hopped out, he put the motherfucking pedal to the metal. Went, started driving crazy. I said, hey, watch out. He opened the sunroof. He said, get out the sunroof. Go through the sunroof. Let's have a crazy moment. And he started wanting to play, y'all know that fucking song, making my way downtown, walking fast. Y'all, he was just going in, and I'm just like, Bubbles, chill, my homegirl. She's just, yay. Like, you know, just because she's drunk too. This nigga started doing donuts in downtown. Like, when the time was to drive in a big ass fucking intersection, he started doing donuts. Y'all, I was just like, I'm screaming because I don't like that shit. So I'm screaming, I'm like, what the fuck? And we just slide. I don't know why we didn't put our seatbelts on. After the donuts, I did put my seatbelt on, and he just kept speeding down the street and doing the fucking most, y'all. So we get pulled over. Mind you, we were just supposed to go park at the parking lot right there. We get pulled over, and Moose just like talking to the officer. He started crying. He's like, I'm sorry, like my grandma just died today. And I don't know, the police didn't see us do the donuts. He just seen him speed off. So he was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna let you off with a warrant. And he was really boohoo crying like, my grandma died. And he was not faking. So I'm like, oh, that's why he been acting so moody. Like, that's why he's all over the place. Like, you know. So we over there, and here go my homegirl in the backseat. Oh my god! And I'm just like, we feeling sad for him. And the police was like, okay, I'm gonna let you off with a warning, but you gotta be careful. You don't want to be dead with her. And it was just the most awkwardest joke. Like, who says that? He's like, so y'all need to just stop speeding. He's like, all right, we about to park the car and get out, and all this other stuff. Y'all. When the police leave, I'm like, I'm so sorry for your loss. He was like, my grandma ain't dead. And I'm just like, you was just really crying though. I'm like, how you do that? You was just really crying. He like, that's because I'm just really emotional. And I'm just like, yeah, time to get out this car. So we end up parking the car or whatever, and he just like, y'all help me walk. I can't walk. I'm too drunk. So we over here holding him up and shit like that. We get to the door, and when we get to the door, we end up having an issue getting in. Another red flag. We had an issue getting in because this nigga can't find his ID. But we thinking he can't find his ID. Whole time he's playing like he can't find his ID because he just thought it was funny. So y'all, annoying. So we go inside or whatever, and the homie, he like, up there getting ready to perform, and he's with his other friends and shit like that. We walking around, we mingling, and my homeboy, not Bubbles, but my other homeboy, he walk up, he's just like, can y'all watch Moose? Like, can y'all be watching out for him? I don't really know him like that, but I know Moose is just like a little different. I'm like, why we gotta watch him? He was just like, just help us out. Like, we all gonna watch him. He's like, you don't gotta follow him or nothing. Like, if you just see him doing some weird shit, kind of like grab him. I'm like, what the fuck? So we in there, I see Moose is just having like a real turned up conversation with somebody, like, like it just looked like he was getting into it with them. So we was doing our own thing. We looking, I'm just like, nope, we're not gonna do it. And she like, I think we should go over there and just see if everything's cool, and hopefully Moose ain't bothering those people. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it, and then finally we give in. So we go over there and we like, Moose, come on, like, you good? And he was like, excuse me? So I'm like, you good? Like, you want to get another drink? You want to get some water or something? He was just like, I'm trying to have fun with my friends right here, okay? He was like, do I know y'all? I'm just like, what? So I looked at my homegirl, she looked at me, and we just walked off. Because I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck? So I went and I told my homie, Bubbles, I'm like, hey, I see Moose over there. He's with his friends. He know people here. He's like, Moose don't know nobody here. And I'm like, how you know? He's like, because I know he don't know anybody here. Like, he don't. And I'm like, yeah, we went over there. He said he with his friends, and they having a good time. And he don't know us. Like, he talking about, who am I? Like, to be talking to him. And he was just like, yeah, that's just how he is, y'all. So I'm just like, what the fuck? So we at the party, Moose still just mingling with a lot of random people. The next thing you know, Moose come over to us, and he was just like, I want to take pictures. And we like, okay, we'll take a picture. And he's like, with y'all, I need memory pictures. I need pictures, like, so I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to take a picture of Moose because he giving me bad vibes, like, so we just like talking, chilling. Now he's just going up. He's just going crazy. Like, I don't know, out of nowhere, he just started going up. But mind you, we all back by each other. The homie had already performed, so we all back by each other, whatever. And Moose just going crazy, and he just, I'm finna fucking leave. I'm gonna leave all y'all here. Ain't nobody getting in my car. Y'all out of nowhere for no reason. So I'm just like, that's a good idea. I was already gonna call somebody to get us because I was not trying to get back in the car with Moose anyway. So he was just like, yeah. And he's like, I don't even know where the fuck my car is at, and da. He just going up. So anyway, like, we was finna leave. So they like, man, Moose, just take us home. Take them back home. Don't do that. And then we walking out, and I'm just like, it's cool. Like, we gonna call somebody. I had already hit somebody up, and y'all, the person I hit up, I'm gonna give him a name because eventually he's gonna get his story time too. I'm gonna call him the Nail Psycho. So I had hit the Nail Psycho up, and I was just like, can you come get me, like, you know, from downtown? And but I haven't told him where I was at yet. So Moose, next, you know, when we walk outside, Moose started laughing. He's like, I was just kidding, y'all. Started tickling us, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, but I'm laughing like, like, what the fuck going on? So he started tickling us. He's like, I was just kidding. Why would I kick y'all out? Y'all are my friends. Y'all get in the car with me. And he was like, and we're going to another club. Y'all, at this point, I'm just like, what the fuck? So we walk in, and it's like groups. Y'all know it's different groups of people walking out because a lot of people was leaving at this time. So Moose go over there to some niggas, and he start getting into it with these niggas. Y'all, when I tell y'all Bubbles and the rest of the crew didn't do shit, they just stand by and was like, where did Moose park at? And Moose getting into it with these niggas, and he like, yeah, and trying to fight niggas and shit. And I'm just like, and my homegirl's like, let's go get Moose. And I'm just like, you know, I don't really like to get involved when men are fighting. You know, too much could go on. So then Moose doing the most. The next thing you know, Moose like trying to fight, and the one boy like pushing him back because they just basically like, you just came over here tripping on us. Like, the fuck? Like, the fuck? So Moose ended up like, yeah, I'm about to get my gun. We could have a shootout right here. We could do whatever. And I'm just like, yo, okay, let me hit the Nail Cycle back up. I'm not getting in the car with Moose. And he just like, they like, man, Moose, chill. At this point, they like, chill. And the niggas was like, okay, what's up? Like, you know, so they pull in. I'm just like, oh my God, let me get out the way. I got time for this. This is not what I got time for. So people hearing the shit, and they doing the most, like, you know, people screaming, running and shit like that. So I'm like, what the fuck? So they like, Bubbles like, give me the keys, nigga, give me the keys. So he like, come on, y'all, get in the car. I'm gonna make sure y'all get home because y'all came with us. So I'm really not trying to get in the car with Moose. He's trying to have like a showdown with niggas, and I'm just not trying to be involved. But we so drunk and dumb, we got in the car. So we got in the car. Moose run back to the car. He hopped in the passenger seat. Bubbles is driving, and he just like, whoa, that was fun. I don't even got a gun. That was fun. Like, you know, because the niggas end up really saying that he was on some just weird timing. So they end up paying him no mind anyway and just like leaving anyway. So he like, that was so fucking fun. Like, do anybody got a gun? Like, like, we could really go. Let's just go shooting in the air. Like, let's do this. And I'm just like, so I'm just like, so we going home now. And then Bubbles like, no, we gotta go by one more spot. So I'm just like, oh, hell no. Y'all, so at this point, and they like, yeah, the other spot is in downtown too. So I'm like, fuck, we in they car. They not finna drive us way back to the house, y'all. So at this point, I'm like, all right, we gonna go inside. I'm lying. I'm like, where's the place at? I'm hitting the Nail Cycle up, and I'm telling him, meet me here, like, come get me. So before we even got there, because we doing too many fucking stops, they trying to find some swishers. They trying to do the most. We go to a fucking 7-Eleven. He go down a one-way the wrong way, parks in the middle of the street and put the hazards on. I'm just thinking like, Bubbles, you acting like Moose at this point, because why would you do that? Moose get out the car, he's screaming, yeah, we turned up. Like, he just in the street screaming, and I'm just like, tell my homegirl, girl, it's cool, we got a ride that's waiting on us. We are finna go, because this nigga is weird. This is weird, because it's like, y'all not even really saying much to him. Y'all just letting him be weird and do fucking weird, crazy, psychotic shit. Like, this nigga's on drugs, because he can't be that alcohol. Ciroc don't get you like that. Like, Ciroc don't make me act like that. So I'm just like, the fuck? So the Nail Cycle like, y'all good? Because I'm telling him what's going on. Like, you know, it's just like a lot going on. So he like, y'all good? I'm already right here. And I'm just like, yeah, we finna come. At this point, I'm trying to map quest it. Like, how far is it? Because people honking, beep. I'm like, fuck, we already got a warning from the police the first time. Not trying to get pulled over and, like, get arrested with y'all. Like, this ain't happening. So I'm trying to map it out. I'm like, yeah, we probably just finna walk to where we're going. It's downtown. It's, like, kind of, it's a lot going on downtown and shit like that. Yeah, so he like, no. Now moves to get back in the seat. He like, we're going to the club. And he do, like, a little spin out. Ooh, like, I'm just like, bro, you doing this when I got somebody on my fucking lap. Because, mind y'all, we stuffed in the car like sardines. So we get to the next club or whatever. Moose doing the most. He pull up to the club before even parking, and he just rolled out a window, and he was like, who's trying to get fucked tonight? Like, you know, and I'm just like, yo, yeah, let me get about this car, because how that look, it's two of us with 4 niggas, and you screaming out the window, who trying to get fucked tonight? Like, bro, what's wrong with you? And they just, like, not saying shit to him. So I'm just like, okay, this nigga's most definitely weird. So We got out the car, we walking, and he like, yeah, we're gonna go in, we're gonna have a good time, y'all, we're gonna have a good time. And I'm thinking like, nigga, at the last place you act like you didn't even know us. The fuck? So I'm not even telling them. So next thing you know, right when we get to the door and they put out their IDs, I was like, all right, y'all, I'm finna go. They like, wait, why are you leaving? So I'm like, because I'm finna go home, you know, call it a night. So they like, how you getting home? I'm like, my friend, he's here, he's gonna take us home or whatever. So they was like, okay. So then Moose was just like, you gonna make me cry. And he's like, y'all gonna make me cry, y'all was my best friends, y'all done turned up the last party, I'm gonna be bored in here with these niggas. Bro, you act like you didn't know us. I'm not sure if you're mistaken or not, but we not the people you was talking to in there. So he really doing that. And then he act like he finna cry. Then he was like, well, give me my gas money, since y'all don't want to go no more. Give me my fucking gas money. And then the other homeboy, he was just like, yo, chill, like chill. They never was gonna give you gas money, like Bubbles had gave you some money or whatever. And he like, nah, fuck all that shit, I need my fucking gas money. I ain't playing these games, I ain't just giving rides out for free. I'm taking niggas to places I don't even want to be. I'm waiting in cars like a chauffeur and shit. Nigga, what? So I was just like, how much do he want? Like, you know, how much gas do you want? You want like 10? Like what? You want what you want? And cause mind you drunk my fucking bottle. Like I brung the bottle, but I'm just like whatever, cause he doing the most. Then he like, I'm just kidding, friend. I don't want no money for y'all. Y'all give me a hug. We gotta do this again. We gotta exchange numbers. So I'm like, I'm gonna get your number from Bubbles. The fuck, nigga? We are not exchanging numbers. We're not having a part 2. So we end up getting in the car with the nail psycho or whatever. And I'm telling him about the whole night, y'all. The nail psycho, we'll get more into him and why his name is the nail psycho when I tell y'all the introduction story on him. Because I'm going to do probably like a 2-part story on the nail psycho. And when I do stories about other people, because the nail psycho have really woo. So yeah, we end up getting in the car with the nail psycho.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.